Nothing is new in wrestling. Everything has been done before, but the old adage goes, what is old will become new once again. We've seen 2 wrestling dentists, at least 4 nature boys, countless best in the worlds, and a never-ending supply of people called Austin. But we still keep coming back for more. Would Hulk Hogan have been the biggest star in the world if he didn't ape Billy Graham's gimmick? Would Ric Flair be regarded as the greatest of all time if it weren't for the tropes that he took from Buddy Rogers? And would CM Punk be the voice of the voiceless if it weren't for CP Monk, the straight-edge chipmunk? What I'm saying is, there's room in wrestling to revisit some classic gimmicks. Whether going the Lucha Libre route of putting someone in a red mask and leotard and calling them El Hijo del Cane, or taking major elements from an established character and tweaking it into something new, there are some bygone gimmicks which could easily be replicated by the stars of today. I'm Adam Pacitti from Cultaholic Wrestling, and these are 10 current wrestlers who could pull off classic gimmicks. Join us. Number 10, Marco Stunt as Mikey Whipwreck. Mikey Whipwreck was your atypical ECW star. Young, cowardly, and dressed like an awkward teen in a family Christmas photo, he soon became a fan favorite and defied all odds to become ECW World Champion. And the secret to Whipwreck's success was the sorrow in his performances. Like a Shakespearean tragedy, the crowd would wince watching this young boy getting his head kicked in, week out. WWE half-heartedly attempted to recapture Whipwreck's aura with Colin Delaney, but it was a WWECW thing, and as a result, nobody really cared. Of all the stars today, there is surely no better candidate to carry on Whipwreck's legacy than Marco Stunt. Jim Cornette's favourite wrestler is a far more exaggerated version of Whipwreck, the size of an ant and literally looking like a child. Marco has been on the receiving end of a fair few beatdowns in his short time on the AEW roster from monsters like Lance Archer and Jake Hager. So why not go all in with Marco? I'm not saying he should win every title like Mikey Whipwreck, as that would be insanity, but why not have him fall up the rankings and have an upset win for the TNT title or something? You never know, it could be magic. Number 9, Gable Steveson as the Olympic hero Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle has long bragged about how he is the only Olympic gold medalist in WWE history, but that might very well be about to change. If the rumors are to be believed, noted WWE fan and Olympic gold medalist Gable Steveson could be on his way to the company. Gable is fresh off winning the gold at the 2020 Tokyo Olympics, and word is there's going to be a bidding war for his services. If he does decide to sign with Vince McMahon's outfit, WWE could do a lot worse than trying to replicate what they did with Kurt 2 decades ago. Now, I'm not suggesting that Steveson starts spouting off about the 3 eyes and drive a milk truck to the ring, although wrestling is sorely lacking in milk trucks these days, but he should be presented as an American hero who triumphed in the face of adversity and proved himself to be the best in his field due to his drive and determination. Rock, flag, and eagle, baby. Just stick him in red, white, and blue, give him the ankle lock as a finisher, and book Jason Jordan as his storyline brother. Number 8, Dolph Ziggler as a body donor. These days, all WWE stars are in impeccable shape. They're all abs and bis and tris and a bunch of other muscles that I can neither pronounce nor locate on a diagram. One of the most in shape of all of them, however, is Dolph Ziggler, a man who was more than likely born with an 8-pack and is noted for his cardiovascular conditioning and ability to wrestle for an hour or more, if called upon. Given that he's been around for an age and could perhaps use a new character direction change, why not repackage the show off as a body donor / Simon Dean-esque fitness guru? The smarmy Ziggler would doubtless be a riot, as he insulted fans and other WWE stars for being out of shape when compared with him, and I'm sure the amateur stand-up comedian has a Jerry Lawler-like list of put-downs he's just dying to use. Hell, you could even turn his team with Bobby Roode, another lad seemingly etched from stone, and have them tag up as the personal trainers from hell. It would work gangbusters in the social media age, where everyone's constantly posting topless selfies. Not that I was looking at them, Mum. Number 7, Jon Moxley as the loose cannon Brian Pillman. Brian Pillman's loose cannon persona was way ahead of its time. Boundary pushing and controversial, it successfully blurred the lines between shoot and work, fooling audiences and wrestling executives alike. The closest we've had to the loose cannon was Dean Ambrose, but instead of attempting to get his knob out or threatening Steve Austin with a gun, Ambrose did wacky things like take a taxi to Raw and befriend a potted plant. Whoa, calm down, Mr. Lunatic Fringe. cringe. Jon Moxley, though, is a different story. Just imagine him appearing on Dynamite to throttle Jim Ross, then throw a bin at a ref. Everyone would love that. Well, besides JR and the official, perhaps. Or he could crop up in New Japan and take a slash in the middle of the ring, just like the original. Heck, he could even swan off to Impact and throw Tommy Dreamer through a window. The possibilities are endless. In a sport that needs more shades of grey, a loose cannon would really shake things up, and there are no better candidates to do it than Jon Moxley. I mean, maybe Brian Pillman Jr., come to think of it, but I've already recorded this now and I don't get paid by the hour. Number 6, Sami Callihan as Mankind. Sweaty, violent anarchist Sami Callihan has been one of Impact's brightest stars as the company has successfully shaken off its former stink and reinvented itself as one of North America's best-booked federations. Callihan had earlier made a name for himself on the indies before a blink-and-you'll-miss-it stop in NXT as hacker Solomon Crow. It was Callahan's signing with Impact that allowed him to fully spread his wings, doing everything from baseball batting people in the head to glassing Brian Cage's wife. Yikes. Callihan is unhinged, but not quite as unhinged as Mankind. Mick Foley's weirdest alter ego, Mankind was psychotic and extremely violent, but also layered, and brought true horror to WWE in the mid-90s. Now, no one but Mick Foley could truly do justice to the Mankind character, but what about a twist on it? Combine the hacker-anarchist element of Callihan as ICU with the deranged worldview of Mankind, and there's potential for Impact to have a must-see star for the first time since EC3. Just maybe forget about the sweat sock this time round. Number 5, Pete Dunne as Ken Shamrock. Pete Dunne is a miserable sod. With a face like an irritated wasp's nest and a penchant for breaking fingers, he is not someone to mess with on the best of days. Gaining prominence in WWE's first UK title tournament, Dunne stood out thanks to his callous nature inside the ring and disdain for authority outside it. A long run with said UK title made him a hit with the wider WWE audience, and as he looks to make an even bigger name for himself with a solid run on NXT, the sky truly is the limit for Dunne. The only problem with Dunne is that perhaps his soft Midlands accent isn't exactly the voice of a stone cold killer, and in the bigger picture of WWE, an OTT personality is everything. So why not make him the new world's most dangerous man then? Ken Shamrock was a trailblazer. The first crossover star from UFC to WWE, his gimmick of exploding with rage and suplexing everything that moved out of its undies made him a huge star in the Attitude Era. Now that UFC is absolutely massive, many former fighters trade off their past successes, so why not let Dunne just fight everyone without mercy? I can just see him snapping Michael Cole's pinky and howling at the moon. It would be brilliant. Number 4, Johnny Gargano as Mr. Backlund. Johnny Wrestling's transformation from a never-say-die super babyface to a deluded, whingy heel has had its ups and downs, but has refreshed a Gargano that was getting a little stale. After all the years of physical abuse in NXT and the psychological abuse from former best mate Tommaso Ciampa, you would expect the bloke to be close to breaking point. Well then, why not fully break him? Rather than go totally bonkers like broken Matt Hardy or Bray Wyatt, surely it's about time WWE revisited Mr. Bob Backlund. The former WWE champion returned in the new generation era as a forgotten relic of a lost era. Still an absolute machine in the ring, Backlund soon lost the plot and would try to rip people's heads off with the crossface chicken wing before being awoken from his state, horrified by what he had just done. Given the rich history of Gargano's NXT run and his prowess in the squared circle, it would make for great television and re-establish him as a main eventer. What's more, you could have wife Candice LeRae start to be frightened of the monster that Johnny is becoming, eventually arcing out into a massive face turn with a new fire. And now I think I'll stop while I'm ahead, since it all went a bit fantasy booker there. Number 3, Lacey Evans as Sergeant Slaughter. From Corporal Kirshner through to Tribute to the Troops to Tony the Soldier in SmackDown vs. Raw 2009, wrestling and the military have gone together like fish and chips for years, especially in WWE. The most famous of all of WWE's military tie-ins is, of course, the Marine. No, sorry, Sergeant Slaughter. Slaughter. A former WWE champion and WWE commissioner, never mind a head trainer of G.I. Joe, Slaughter is simply iconic, his easily recognizable character and crimson chin making him a standout star of the rock and wrestling era. But since Slaughter's heyday, there haven't really been many high-profile military-inspired wrestlers in WWE, and if they want to go that route again, then the best candidate is Lacey Evans. WWE and Evans herself proudly bring up her past service in the Marines, but have yet to properly explore it on TV. Sure, the sassy Southern Belle gimmick is alright, but it's not gonna last forever, and with WWE flip-flopping Evans from heel to face and back again, it's pretty directionless. So when she comes back, if the Fed have high hopes for Evans as a huge babyface, then turn her into the modern-day female version of Slaughter. Maybe without the whole glory to Saddam Hussein ideology, though. Number 2, Bobby Roode as Ravishing Rick Rude. What if we took those two O's away and replaced them with a U? Okay, now let's get rid of that beard and bring back the moustache. Looks good. Alright, now whip those trunks off and get some airbrush tights on that tight ass. Perfect. Look, the comparison has been made for years, but Bobby Roode is basically Rick Rude 2.0. He has the name and the body and likes a neck breaker or two, but he's never fully committed to the act in the way that the Ravishing one did. I mean, seriously, would it kill the Glorious One to swivel those hips, insult the fans for being sweat hogs, or hit on his colleagues' wives every once in a while? No, it would not. Bobby may be getting on in years, he's actually 5 years older than Rick was when he passed away, but he can use that to his advantage by becoming all of our dads and having a horny midlife crisis. The pieces are there, he just needs to piece them together. And invest in baby oil. Lots and lots of baby oil. Number 1, Cesaro as the Ringmaster. Look, myself and many people like me will probably be banging on about the fact that Cesaro should get a proper push and be a bigger star until the day the Swiss decide to fight in a war. Despite being bald, wearing trunks, and being super talented, Cesaro is never going to be Steve Austin. Well, not beer-drinking, hell-raising Stone Cold Steve Austin anyway. I hear the Swiss Superman is much more partial to a protein shake and an espresso than a cerveza. But Cesaro could certainly pull off the Ringmaster. You know, the Master of the Ring, the gimmick Austin was initially given in WWE and hated, but which, with the right person doing it and a few tweaks here or there, could be great. Cesaro has been around the block a time or two, and now he's firmly entrenched in the hell of a hand category, a performer who you know is going to deliver the goods from bell to bell every single time. Watching him wrestle is like witnessing a living textbook, so precise and accomplished is he at his craft. Cesaro is the Ringmaster, and personally, I think he would look just dandy in green. And failing that, they could always call him Chili McFreeze.